Hi, and welcome back to another episode of I Shouldn't Say This, but my name is Katy Leeson, and we are here in the beautiful Mollie's in Manchester. Huge thank you to our sponsors. We are the allies without which we wouldn't be able to do this. And you've heard him off camera. Now I've got him on camera. Hi, Stefan. I just think these episodes are so much better when we have a chat and you can ask me things and people can see your face.
Definitely. Yeah, the last one was
Like
the only reason why.
The voice from beyond.
It was just a voice. It was AI. That's what it was.
And we don't use AI for things like this, so yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. Very real conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the podcast front,
Yes.
we spoke a little bit about why you started it last time.
Mm-hmm.
We're now on to month 3 of recording.
How fast, by the way?
Yeah, it's gone. We were speaking about this for a couple of months before as well.
Yeah.
So it's been, 5 months since we actually kind of started the conversation. You chose to bring it back.
Yeah.
You decided not to do it in a studio, but to do it here at Mollie's. Let's start with that. Why did you choose Mollie's?
I have been very fortunate to be around and absorb from some of the best marketing minds in the business, Steven being one of them. And what Steve has built with Diary of a CEO and the way that now he uses social and the way he always used social was the fact that the standout was that he had a recognisable set. And it literally was in his apartment, in his flat, house, whatever it was, in Shoreditch. So when we went down for say a birthday that was where the set was. It was literally in his house, but it was so recognisable on social. And we are hit with, I can't remember, I think it's something like 10,000 ads a day or something we're hit at. We absorb so much content. So not only the ads, but also we're hit with everyone else's feed. We're hit with memes. We're hit with Instagram models. We're hit with so much volume of content. And you see so many podcast episodes, clips on social, and I didn't want mine to look like everyone else's. I also have done a bit of redefining on what my brand is. I think I spent so long, and the episode we've recorded today with Heather, when I first went out on my own, I felt like I needed something, and it needed to be something, and it needed to be a big business, and it had to have its own identity and blah, 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 blah. And she gave me the best advice that it didn't have to be to start with, and I could just have a bit of a year of fucking around and seeing what happened.
Such a good episode. It was so nice to reflect on that as someone who produces a show, that I had a lot of relatable things to that. So I know the audience that will listen to this.
So good. And I did that, but then it got to the point where I've decided that I could keep doing that and just financially be secure and live like every month, just keep going, pay the bills, blah, 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 blah. But I decided at the beginning of this year that I wanted to make Katy into a business. And in order to do that, I felt like I needed to have a brand identity that stood out. And I'm all about energy, and I'm all about warmth, and I'm all about fun. And I feel like I love sun, colour, vibes. Like orange and blue just seemed very me.
Yeah, that was the board.
That was the board. I know.
So, on to the podcast then.
Yep.
Month 3, as we said.
Crazy.
How's it going?
I think really well. I'm really pleased. I'm loving the conversations that I'm having. I feel like I'm only just getting, scratching the surface on it. I want to make sure that the conversations, I'll keep saying value, are adding real value. My aim on everything that I do in terms of my business stuff is impact. I want everything to have an impact. I don't want to just be producing this to say I've got a podcast. I want the podcast to have impact. I want my consultancy to have impact. I want my coaching to have an impact. I want to make sure that I am adding value, not just contributing to noise.
So how important is the guests then? So obviously that's your impact on what you're doing with the show, and 80% of what the show is are your guests, right? So how important is that when you're selecting them?
It's so important because I want to make sure that the guest is going to add value to leaders and founders. When I'm talking about Katy as a business, or now as I'm putting it all under the umbrella of Courageous, that is targeting leaders and founders to help themselves grow without losing themselves and without losing their people. So with that, every decision I'm making when it comes to the podcast and the guests, the topics we talk about, who we have on, the conversations that we have, what value can I give to those leaders and founders? So it's really we're really thinking about it to make sure that I'm thinking about topics that are coming up when you're growing a business based on my lived experience as well. So how to manage, how to build a personal brand, how to manage your HR, how to deal with the fact that if you start a social channel and it grows massively and then you're dealing with the hate off the back of it, but you're still growing a business. All of these things I know are challenges that leaders and founders are facing. So that's where the decision on who comes on as a guest matters to me. And as it grows and develops, one of my big things is I want to also have the number twos. And Heather touched on it actually in that episode that we did with her. The fact that the number two, the operations people, the people running the business behind the founders' faces, know the ins and outs of how businesses are built. And I want to get into those conversations as well. So that's going to be developing it out for the podcast because I'm super nosy. So I want to know how these super brands are operating and what makes them a success, not just the stories from founders that we hear all the time.
I think that's the interesting thing about the show as well. We spoke about in your solo one that we just recorded, the journey alongside you and the show itself. We've always got this conversational point about something that you experienced last week, whether that's imposter syndrome or whether that's moments of success. Is always something to talk about. And it's nice that you're active in your business and coaching and things that you do, that you can then relate that back to the podcast, and probably new guests will come up because of that as well.
It's really nice to have a space to be able to talk about what is happening, because I don't show a lot of the journey online because I don't think about it. I'm running from one thing to the next and it's fast paced and I don't think about whether people are that interested. But whenever I see people, they're like, well, it's amazing. You're doing it. The comment that I'm getting a lot at the moment is, you are doing so much. It seems like you're doing loads. And I don't think to talk about it. So it's really nice to have the podcast as a space to be able to talk, to document the journey. Maybe for me as well, just a reflection piece. It's one of the things I talk about when I talk about imposter syndrome and how to use it to your advantage, is have a boost folder as a place of recognition. So every time something good happens, write it down, have it in an email folder, have it somewhere where when your imposter syndrome hits, you can reflect back. And the podcast is like my boost folder because I can look back and reflect and talk about it.
So on that note, we've had some great feedback from the show. And I know that you also put out, Q&As for your Instagram. What's a question that you haven't been asked that you wish someone would have put in your DMs?
Oh my God, what do I wish I would have been asked? I actually don't. What would you ask me that no one's asked? What would you want to know? Because I'm all about what's valuable. So when I'm thinking about what I've not been asked, I'm like, what do I think people are? Maybe the realities of going out as a solo, out on your own from employment. And it's a conversation that it's something niggling at me at the moment. It is so hard having a business and owning a business, even though it's just me in the business. I don't think it's discussed enough the actual realities of the challenges of trying to make enough money to pay your tax, your personal tax, your corp tax, your VAT. And then I'm also on the other side of it, and I thought about this the other day, I'm also paying all my bills, I'm paying my mortgage, I'm keeping Fozzie alive, I'm still managing to live quite a fun life and pay all those and make this happen and work on my social content. that's a pretty big achievement, and I don't think I've given myself the credit for that, but it is really tough.
It is tough, and I think that's where purpose also comes in, because you realise when you run a business how difficult it is, and people always talk about risk and reward, right? The reward sometimes isn't buying a car with your money or having enough money from the business that you can go out and buy things all the time, or financial freedom, or having a bit more of your own time. I think the reward sometimes is the reward has to be, I've built something, or I'm building something. It has to be.
Yeah, mine is a bit of its impact. So knowing that I've helped people. So when I get off stage and I get feedback that it was useful and I've given them a new perspective on things, or they're now going to think differently about something. And with coaching, when I get messages, I got a message from one of my coaching clients the other day just saying, I can't thank you enough. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is good. And in that, what we were doing there, we was just really defining, because it's a fast growing hospitality business who do sporting events, and it's grown out of just a pure authenticity around loving football and loving sport and wanting to make really good experiences for people. And that then you've then challenged with actually the fact of growing a business. So we were setting roles and responsibilities, and we were trying to like put plans in place for the season coming up. And I love doing stuff like that because I can see I'm adding real value to people.
Well, that's validation, right?
Yeah,
And
but it's
maybe
also the
that's what it
freedom.
lacks, because
Yeah.
I don't know about you, loneliness is something that I think I always thought I was very independent, very happy being on my own. Having a business on your own, you have to build community. You have to, and that's not community for customers. I think community alongside other business owners, people that understand your business, people that you can tell good things and bad things to. But if you get the validation of, oh, you really helped me, or you've done something to impact my life in a positive way, that I think takes away a little bit of the loneliness, because it builds back into the purpose of the why.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it?
You always need your cheerleaders. I remember sitting down with Karen Blackett from MediaCom, and she said that you need your cheerleaders around you, because the higher up you get, and when you're running a business on your own, the less people you can talk to about the hard stuff. If you're in a business, it's exactly the same. If you're in a position of leadership, you can't go out and say to your mate that you've worked with for 10 years, who's like a head of a department, oh, this is happening and it's really hard. You can't do that. You can't put those stresses on other people. And I've had that. I've had friends in business, and then it's like I got into a position where I knew more information than anyone else in the company, and I can't share that because of the impact that that would have on everyone else. But you've got to have the people that you can rely on and can trust and feel comfortable with telling. And it's the same.
Therapy, right?
It's business therapy. It's having your safe space. And it's the same when you're running a business. You've got to find your people that will help.
You surround yourself with different people once those problems and success. Business is a constant roller coaster, isn't it, of highs and lows.
Yeah.
But that's what you sign up
Tax
for.
bill.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah, I can't. Business is choosing your own kind of hard way of things, right?
Yeah.
Being employed is tough. If
Yeah.
if you want financial freedom and choosing your own holidays and making your own decisions, being employed is tough. Having your own business and having all those things that come with that makes it easier, but then you have to choose the other things.
And I have said recently, should I not just go back into employment? Because it'd be...
Have you? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why?
It'd be easier in the fact that I know monthly what my income would be. It'd be easier because I could book a holiday and not have to constantly think about work. Because even now running a business, I book a holiday, but then I'm still trying to, because there's just me in a business and I'm the one that's bringing money in for me. There's no one else doing that. So even on holiday, I'm answering emails because I can't let anything slide. I can't like miss an opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's surprising that most people that choose that know what they're kind of getting into.
When you're working for yourself, you have to take the opportunities, the right opportunities when they come up. And that sometimes means that you can't just swan around and have a coffee and go to a yoga class in the middle of the day. God, I would love it if I could.
Or you can, but you're sitting
At the
there at 1, 2
sacrifice.
o'clock in the morning doing what?
Yeah, which is work-life blend. That's when Blend comes in.